AskReddit by Few Competition 4128. What is the most taboo thing you've done? When I was at uni, between 18 and 20, Marlon lady, late 40s, early 50s maybe, offered me a reduced rent for favors. I accepted the offer. It was only about once a month or so, but I'd get a few days taken off the monthly rent in exchange for a couple of hours in her bedroom. Seemed like a good deal at the time and I've got no regrets. There is a big crackdown on this in the UK currently. The government is not happy about people being screwed without them being part of it. Slept with a girl on a gondola boat in Venice. We just pulled up the tarp, got under and had sex. Alice, if you see this, thank you. I got an old-fashioned from a girl on the bus in New Zealand. I had to use my socks to clean the mess up. Never saw her again. Sarah from Welly, thanks again. Once I moved into a new neighborhood. I was 6 or 7 I think. I started wandering the streets to explore. I saw another family moving in. They had a pizza sitting by the curb, clearly a reward after a long day moving boxes. I stole the pizza and ran off with it. After getting away, I found a secluded spot but I was too nervous to eat it. So I threw the whole pepperoni pizza in a dumpster and ran home. I still feel bad about this 30 years later. I was a little shit. I admit it. That reminds me of when I stole a pack of cigarettes from my friend's mom. But then I was scared to smoke them so I threw the entire pack down the storm drain. The mom found out and made me pay her $12. Having sex with a roommate was a bad idea. Having sex with 2 of my roommates was a really bad idea. You looking for a roommate? FWB sucking my dick. Phone rings. She answers. Barely removes penis to say hello. Spends the entire call slobbing on my knob, like corn on the cob. A few ahas and MHMMS mumbled around my cock. Eventually says bye, hangs up. Sorry, that was my sister. She's been taken into hospital. The red flag-o-meter should have exploded at that point, but I was preoccupied. Mayo. I had something similar. Was mid-coitus with a girl I hooked up with at a wedding. Her friend was calling her phone repeatedly after being stranded at the wedding. We were bust an hour out of town and he had no way to get back. She took the condom off and started sucking my dick mid-phone call. Was pretty awesome. So many cousin fuckers here. For every incest comment there's at least 3 guys asking for the details. LMAO. I flashed my tits to my dying friend when I was 16 because he'd never seen a pair of titties before. Weirdly wholesome. I slept with 2 different women in one night. Separately. They were both named Courtney. And I met both of them in group therapy. Having worked in that environment, I'm horrified but not at all surprised. Banged in the rain on my parents' front lawn while back on break from college. Hadn't seen girlfriend in a while so she sneaked by and I found a spot no one would see us. But, I went outside, in the rain for a while, came back with muddy knees on my jeans, and my dad's not stupid. Should have smeared mud all over and tell him you foul. Sex in public. Middle of the night, no one was around though. Except for a damn security camera. I did that at night on a dock, then a car pulled up and she pushed me off of her and into the water. I wish this was a joke. Played out a CNC roleplay with a FWB that was a therapist. She wasn't officially my therapist, but the pillow talk did legit help me through some emotional baggage I had about a death in the family. Dang. Top tier aftercare. I got drunk with a girl I knew from college and took her home. My roommates also had people over partying and such. I take her upstairs and a friend of mine is sleeping on the floor in my room because it was the only quiet place. She's done it a couple times already when we've had people over. Girl from college still wants to fuck, so we try to be as quiet as we can, until my friend on the floor says, "Can I watch?" So she watched us go at it while getting herself off. It was crazy fucking hot. No threesome though. IDK man, if she got off to watching you have sex and it made it hotter that you knew she was getting off to watching you have sex, you can round it up to a threesome. Tried to start a conversation with strangers sitting next to me on the plane. I make and I sell soap. I fell asleep during my ex eating my pussy. In my defense, I had been on a 48-hour bender. And to make matters worse, if it can get any worse, he only knew I was asleep because I started snoring, and as I have sleep apnea, it wasn't just your everyday gentle snoring. It was broken steam train, derailing kind of snoring. I love the description of the snoring. My man snores like this, and it does in fact sound like a broken steam train. Damn, I've had a boring life. I removed the tags from a pillow. For all the people who did sexual stuff with a member of their family. How was the Christmas dinner? Grandma didn't complain. She enjoyed dinner as well. Stayed in a nice hotel in York. Didn't think to bring a swimming costume. Checked out the pool, which we found out closed 20 minutes prior. The ladies' changing room door was open, so we decided to go down in our underwear and dressing gowns. Had a little swim, sat in the hot tub and started making out. Decided to check whether the steam room was working. Ended up having a quickie in there. Made sure we didn't make a mess. Then carried on swimming. 2 minutes later the staff came in and checked whether anyone else was in there and told us the pool was closed. We played dumb and got out. Probably the most taboo thing I've ever done. Physical activity in the steam room? And you didn't suffocate? Impressive. Pranked a local bar with a cousins only night today sign at the entrance down in Alabama. So they must have had enough people in there to violate the fire code. Swam right after eating. Who cares about cousin fuckers? That's a primordial sin. Rode topless in a truck on a busy highway. We find out it's a 53 years old dad with a Burger King diet and C-cups. Got a blowjob off my best friend's younger sister while we were in high school on lunch break. Potter. I became a verified model on Pornhub, but I don't make porn videos. When I was 27, had sex with my 50-year-old married boss who seemed like this nice lady. So surprised she talked dirty and was really kinky. Dated outside my race. I'm the black sheep in my family. Never adhered to traditional Asian norms. Brought my first GF home from when I was in HS. She is black and my mom bawled her eyes out. I'm Latin, in a Latin American country. I am 33 now, but when I was 16 I dated a Japanese girl. She introduced me to her family. I tried Japanese food before it was cool. Her family loved me because we studied together. Once they found out we were a couple, they moved her to a different high school and I was not allowed to see her again. Tracked her down years later thanks to Facebook. She moved to Argentina. I had sex with someone that was pretending I was her brother that had committed suicide over their teenage incest. What in fuck? Had sex in front of a group of 25 people on a dare. I need more information. How did you get it up in front of 25 people? How long did it last? Was it any good? When I was 18, I was working as a phone sex operator and was introduced to sex work by a co-worker. She set me up with a much older man who would pay me for sex on weekend. He wanted to do a threesome, so I talked a friend of mine into coming with me with the promise of a big payday. I made more money working for him every weekend than I ever did at the phone sex job. He's still hiring? I turned on the interior light in the dark while my dad was driving. You could have killed everyone. Nothing to taboo. We had a wedding night 3-way with the maid of honor. I mean, that's very surprising, but my man. I had a threesome with my then current GF and her best friend who was my ex. Edit, it was on a cruise. My then ex had a falling out with this new girl she was dating and we all had gotten tickets cheap on Grup and Lameo. They got in a fight and my then GF who was her best friend was comforting her. We all couldn't go anywhere, and we were drunk, and my ex didn't want to go back to her cabin, which was next door, and they were both bi, and did I mention we had been drinking? I didn't pursue it or organize it, but it was great. Was it a good threesome though?